Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Ambassador Greer. Welcome to the committee. Thank you for all your service. I just have a direct question because I'm a little puzzled. Being a great James Bond fan, I was kind of wondering what this whole deal is to Russia with love and why, as has been pointed out, that on April the 2nd, the president excluded Russia, Belarus, Cuba, and North Korea from the new global tariff. The Treasury sector said Russia wasn't on the list because they already imposed sanctions to prevent most U.S.-Russia trade, making higher tariffs unnecessary. The question's kind of twofold. Is that the case with Russia, Belarus, Cuba, and North Korea? While trade in goods has decreased, trade with Russia is still significant. Last time I checked, it's like $3.5 billion, well above the volumes of trade for many smaller countries that my colleagues have already been through that are impacted by this. So first, was this an oversight, or is the president trying to reinvigorate trade with Russia?
So there's no effort to reinvigorate trade with Russia. Congress did the right thing a couple of years ago and revoked permanent normal trade relations with Russia, so put it in the bad category. And so Belarus, Russia, North Korea, they already have their own high tariffs already in a category that Congress has established.
So it doesn't matter. They're not part of this
Well,
system.
it does matter. They already have these high tariffs. They don't have permanent normal trade relations. We have normal trade relations with these others. And I think if there's
so
trade with
why are the penalties that much more, why are the tariffs that much more higher on other country and allies than they are in Russia, because we're already doing enough with Russia?
No, it's because in the sanctions law, there's always an exclusion for agricultural products, and I think that's the only type of trade we really have with Russia. But all of those folks, they're sanctioned, they're subject to embargoes of one type or another. Congress revoked permanent normal trade relations, and that's certainly the right answer for those folks. We should not have normal trade relations with those countries.
Well, let me ask you this then. Would you commit here that if we see trade increasing from last year, that USTR will take action to increase tariffs on Russia?
Oh, I'm happy to monitor that and advise the president accordingly. I agree with you.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm happy to monitor that and advise the president accordingly.
What does that mean, you're going to monitor that?
Well, you asked if we would see if the trade level would change. I'm agreeing with you. I'm happy to see if the trade level with Russia changes.
If it does increase, you will add additional tariffs.
Well, it's the president's choice, but I'll advise him, and I'll say this is affecting the trade deficit. We should consider this.
So does that mean you would advise him to raise the tariffs with Russia?
Well, I don't typically give out my advice to the president out in public, but I agree with you.
Well, I'm sure the American people would love to know, and as would members of Congress. I mean, you got to kind of admit it is just if you casually follow the news, you're not a member of this committee, and the relationship with Russia is kind of bizarre in terms of what it is between President Trump and President Putin, and why this relationship exists. So you can imagine, I don't know, have you ever been to Augie and Ray's?
No, I haven't.
You should. It's a great spot in East Hartford. It's right next to Pratt Whitney Aircraft, et cetera. And they're deeply concerned about this, and they always say, hey, what's going on with Russia and what's going on with the president and Putin? So I'm going to be able to tell them, don't worry. I spoke with Ambassador Greer, and currently Russia's apparently paying enough. Their sanctions already are sufficient. But if we see greater activity and great trade amounts, we're going to make sure that tariffs are levied on them. Is that a fair thing to say?
Well, on the last part, I can't make the president's decision for him, right? I mean, Russia.
But you would recommend that you would increase tariffs on them.
Well, I'm not going to disclose my recommendations.
So we're not going to recommend, we're not going to say, see, at Augie and Ray's, they would say, hey, come on, you're BSing us now. We know what's going on here. But with that, thank you, Ambassador, and appreciate your time. I yield back.